Do you ever treat the holy like it's baggage, useful when it's convenient and ignored when it's not? Just remember that Numbers chapter 4 refuses the casual handling of God's presence. God gives detailed and risky rules for who carries what and how it's carried. Stay with me and I'll show you one immediate action that you can use to treat the sacred with care in your life in this episode of Biblical Unlocks. This show is designed to help keep up your habit of reading the Bible, understanding the Bible, and applying it in your daily life. And if you enjoy episodes like this, please consider following and rating the show. It's free, it helps me out a lot, and you can always change your mind later. Now on to some context. So Numbers chapter 4 gives the how of sacred service. That is, it is exact, it's dangerous, awe-filled, and these instructions are going to be for the Kohathites. We saw them in Numbers chapter 3. It's going to be for the Kohathites, the Gershonites, and the Merarites. How to disassemble, transport, and reassemble the tabernacle. This is important because the tabernacle, of course, represents God's presence among the Israelites. And it follows Numbers chapter 3, who told us who serves and tells us what they carry and how, including strict rules that protect lives and preserve holiness. So this chapter is the Bible's manual for careful devotion. It teaches that worship is actually a practical work that requires obedience, structure, and trained hands. Okay, let's read the first 20 verses and we'll have a deep biblical unlock afterwards. Verse 1. The Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, Take a census of the Kohathites, separate from the other Levites by their clans and their ancestral houses, from 30 years old up to 50 years old, all who qualify to do work relating to the tent of meeting. The service of the Kohathites relating to the tent of meeting concerns the most holy things. When the camp is to set out, Aaron and his sons shall go in and take down the screening curtain and cover the ark of the covenant with it. Then they shall put on it a covering of fine leather, and spread over that a cloth all of blue, and put its poles in place. Over the table of the presence they shall spread a blue cloth, and put on it the plates, the dishes for incense, the bowls, and the flagons for the drink offering. The regular bread also shall be on it. Then they shall spread over them a crimson cloth, and cover it with a covering of fine leather, and put its poles in place. Then they shall take a blue cloth, and cover the lampstand for the light, with its lamps, its snuffers, its trays, and all the vessels for oil with which it is supplied. And they shall put it with all its utensils in a covering of fine leather, and put on it the carrying frame. Over the golden altar they shall spread a blue cloth, and cover it with a covering of fine leather, and put its poles in place. And they shall take all the utensils of the service that are used in the sanctuary, and put them in a blue cloth, and cover them with a covering of fine leather, and put them on the carrying frame. They shall take away the ashes from the altar, and spread a purple cloth over it, and they shall put on it all the utensils of the altar, which are used for the service there, the fire pans, the forks, the shovels, and the basins, all the utensils of the altar, and they shall spread on it a covering of fine leather, and put its poles in place. When Aaron and his sons have finished covering the sanctuary, and all the furnishings of the sanctuary, as the camp sets out, after that the Kohathites shall come to carry these, but they must not touch the holy things, or they will die. These are the things of the tent of meeting that the Kohathites are to carry. Verse 16. Eleazar, son of Aaron, the priest, shall have charge of the oil for the light, the fragrant incense, the regular grain offering, and the anointing oil, the oversight of all the tabernacle and all that is in it, in the sanctuary and in its utensils. Then the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, You must not let the tribe of the clans of the Kohathites be destroyed from among the Levites. This is how you shall deal with them, in order that they may live and not die when they come near the most holy things. Aaron and his sons shall go in and assign each to a particular task or burden, but the Kohathites must not go in to look on the holy things, even for a moment, or they will die. Biblical unlock number 1. we see the Kohathites carry the most holy of things, and we see how if you get close to God, there are certain ramifications that we need to recognize. So the deep biblical unlock here is being close to God is not carefree. Intimacy with the holy requires obedience, mediation, and sometimes even danger. Because the Kohathites are instructed or entrusted with the ark, the table, the lampstand, the altars, and the most sacred of things, yet they are forbidden to touch them directly when the Lord's presence rests on them. The priests must cover them first, and this choreography makes a sharp point. Being close to God, proximity to God's presence creates responsibility and risk. Intimacy with the divine is not merely a sentimental feeling. It actually demands ritual mediation and the humility to let the priestly work cover and protect what would otherwise kill or profane. Really important here. God's presence is in a sense deadly. Okay, now let's read verses 21 to 28 on the Gershonites. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Take a census of the Gershonites also, by their ancestral houses and by their clans, from 30 years old up to 50 years old. You shall enroll them, all who qualify to do work in the tent of meeting. This is the service of the clans of the Gershonites, in serving and bearing burdens. They shall carry the curtains of the tabernacle, and the tent of meeting with its covering, and the outer covering of fine leather, that is on top of it, and the screen for the entrance of the tent of meeting, and the hangings of the court, and the screen for the entrance of the gate of the court, that is all around the tabernacle and the altar, and their cords, and all the equipment for their service, and they shall do all that needs to be done with regards to them. All the service of the Gershonites shall be at the command of Aaron and his sons, in all that they are to carry, and in all that they have to do, and you shall assign to them as duties all that they are to carry. This is the service of the clans of the Gershonites, relating to the tent of meeting, and their duties are to be under the oversight of Ithamar, son of Aaron the priest. Deep biblical unlock number 2. The soft things matter. That is, the fabrics, the curtains, the covering, beauty and protection all must be tended with care. Notice what is happening here. The Gershonites transport the fabric, the curtains, the coverings, right, in this section of the book, but the Bible refuses to downgrade these aspects, right? These aspects of aesthetics, the mundane textures of the worship. All of these coverings protect the holy. They create a sort of threshold. Caring for the soft things here is theological, and beauty and shelter are a part of God's presence, and they must be handled faithfully. All that you do be done in the Lord, and everything that you do for the Lord must be tended with care, attention, and purpose. Okay, next, verses 29 to 33. The Merarites are going to carry the frames and bars, the skeletons that hold up worship. Verse 29, As for the Merarites, you shall enroll them by their clans and their ancestral houses, from 30 years old up to 50 years old. You shall enroll them, everyone who qualifies to do the work of the tent of meeting. This is their duty, to carry as the whole of their service in the tent of meeting, the frames of the tabernacle, with its bars, pillars, and bases, and the pillars of the court all around with their bases, pegs, and cords, with all their equipment and all their related service, and you shall assign by name the objects they are to carry. This is the service of the clans of the Merarites, the whole of their service relating to the tent of meeting, under the hand of Ithamar, son of Aaron the priest. Okay, biblical unlock number 3. Structures matter. The visible framework is the gift that makes presence possible. The Merarites are assigned the frames, the pillars, the bases, and the bars, right? Theologically, or from a theological standpoint, what this emphasizes is that worship needs a backbone, order, discipline, and material support. Without frames and bars, the tent collapses. Likewise, without administrative care, doctrine and devotion, they will all fall in on themselves, and the sacred work of heavy lifting is holy because it preserves the house where God dwells. Discipline, structure, all of these are important in worship. Okay, alright, now let's read verses 34 to 49, the last section of the chapter, which is going to be the census of the Levites. So Moses and Aaron and the leaders of the congregation enrolled the Kohathites by their clans and their ancestral houses from 30 years old up to 50 years old, everyone who qualified for work relating to the tent of meeting, and their enrollment by clans was 2,750. This was the enrollment of the clans of the Kohathites, all who served at the tent of meeting, whom Moses and Aaron enrolled according to the commandment of the Lord by Moses. The enrollment of the Gershonites by their clans in their ancestral houses from 30 years old up to 50 years old, everyone who qualified for work relating to the tent of meeting. Their enrollment by their clans and their ancestral houses was 2,630. This was the enrollment of the clans of the Gershonites, all who served at the tent of meeting, whom Moses and Aaron enrolled according to the commandment of the Lord. The enrollment of the clans of the Merarites by their clans and their ancestral houses from 30 years old up to 50 years old, everyone who was qualified for work relating to the tent of meeting. And their enrollment by their clans was 3,200. This is the enrollment of the clans of the Merarites, whom Moses and Aaron enrolled according to the commandment of the Lord by Moses. All those who were enrolled of the Levites whom Moses and Aaron and the leaders of Israel enrolled by their clans and their ancestral houses from 30 years old up to 50 years old, all who qualified to do the work of the service and the work of bearing burdens relating to the tent of meeting, and their enrollment was 8,580. According to the commandment of the Lord through Moses, they were appointed to their several tasks of serving or carrying. Thus they were enrolled by him as the Lord commanded Moses. Biblical unlock number 4. Holiness requires formation and a visible price. That is, time, training, accounting. Only those who were aged 30 to 50 were allowed to in the transporting work, or they were serving in the transporting work. The Levites are counted, and a redemption price is set for the firstborn. That is to say, God institutes seasons for service and a communal compensation for this substitution. That is, sacred labor is not an accidental thing. It requires training, seasons of strength, communal willingness to shoulder costs. And the chapter right at the end teaches that keeping God's presence is costly, but the cost is public and shared. You can even see this in Numbers. Everyone is enrolled according to a certain thing. Everyone is qualified for a certain work. And everyone is accounted for and numbered according to what God has for them. Your hairs on your head are numbered, the stars in the sky are numbered, and everyone in these clans are numbered according to the purpose that they serve in allowing the kingdom of heaven to reside here on earth. Okay, let's see how this particular chapter fulfills or foreshadows Jesus Christ. So in this chapter, we saw really clearly that Numbers 4 has these, like the Gershonites, the Kohathites, and the Merarites. All of them have particular purpose in mediating God's presence, how they meant to carry the tabernacle, which is where God dwells. And all of them find their fulfillment in Christ, because He is the one who carries the true presence. He is Emmanuel, God is with us. He is the one who enters the holy place once and for all, and is Himself the service and the sacrifice, Hebrews chapter 9, where the Levites trained and paid a ransom, right? Jesus is the perfect servant and atoning payment. There is no cover-up. There is no careless touch. He is the perfect mediation because He is God among us. This is what we read in Hebrews chapter 9, verse 11 to 12. But when Christ appeared as a high priest of the good things that have come, then through the greater and more perfect tent, not made with hands, that is, not of this creation, He entered once for all into the holy places, not by the blood of goats and calves, but by His own blood, thus securing an eternal redemption. I want to finish off with some applications. I said 1 or 2 concrete actions for you to apply if you stayed with me till the end. So the first thing is, I think an important thing is to volunteer for a holy handling, so to speak, role in your parish, in your community, in your spiritual life. So find one small way, a practical way to help your local community set up or tear down, or I don't know, like move chairs, help set up sound, fold hymnals, I don't know, bring supplies. The idea here is you need to treat the task with a sacred responsibility. Arrive early, do it with reverence, offer a short prayer before you begin. when you start to realize that everything you're doing here has eternal significance, I think then you're able to sacredly handle stuff. And this is the second thing as well. Have a sacred handling rule for your devotions. Pick one device or habit that enters your prayer or your reading time. Maybe it's a phone, a headphones, a messy desk, and completely remove it or cover it for your next 10-minute devotion. I guess what I'm saying is you should practice treating your devotional space as a tent, which is tidy, focused, and guarded from any casual intrusion. You're speaking with the eternal God, the creator of the universe, and I think we should treat it with a lot more respect and sacredness. So that's it for this episode of Biblical Unlocks. Next episode we'll go deeper into Numbers chapter 5, where holiness is going to meet social order, where you're going to be dealing with impurity, restitution, and community health. So if Numbers chapter 4 taught us how to carry God's presence safely, Numbers 5 is going to teach us how the community can be kept clean enough to carry it. So don't miss it. But thank you so much for listening to this episode. Numbers 4 really does remind us that God's presence is not sustained by our own sentimental feelings, but by faithful hands, trained forms, and a shared cost. And if you felt the weight of all that, do one small thing. Help set up or clean up at your next gathering, or protect your next devotion from distraction. That simple act honors the God who dwells among us, and you're a part of that sacred work. So, thank you for listening to this episode of Biblical Unlocks. If you enjoyed episodes like this, please consider following and rating the show. It's free, it helps me out a lot, and you can always change your mind later. Otherwise, just have a blessed day. And remember, if you're not in your word, you're in your feelings. Godspeed.